Welcome in, fans of the Flyer. I say good day to you all. My name's Sully. This is the Talking Out Loud live pregame show streaming from Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. And it's ABC week. Arch Baron Cup week is upon us, presented by Lee's Chicken. Again, I'm your host, Sully, 2012 grad, bringing you nothing but the best hour-long pregame show dedicated to Dayton Flyers talk. And you can only find it on 1410 ESPN Radio right here in Dayton. If you're joining us on iHeartRadio, if you're on StreamYard, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are joining us, I thank you supremely. If you're watching us at Tim's, I thank you if you're sitting there at Tim's as well. I got KT, 2011 grad, joining me on the cast today. Cast, I keep saying cast. I get my podcast and my shows mixed up. KT's joining me to dissect the carnage and maybe inject a little hope into the program tonight, KT, wouldn't you say?
That's what we're here to do. That's why the Talking Out Loud podcast is here. That's why the pregame show is here. Let's do it.
To instill hope that's what you're saying?
That's all this show is here to do, is instill hope. That's all we got left is hope.
Well, that's where we're going to start the show tonight.
Hope in Jesus.
That's exactly right. That's where we're going to start the show tonight is hope. So hold on, I'm going to take them full circle here. You know me, all right?
I know.
We have a jam-packed hour long of Dayton Flyers talk leading you right up to the 7 p.m. tip. Flyers taking on the Billikens in the 66th Arch Baron Cup dating back to 1952. The best we know. The record books have been burned before 1952. So that's the best that we know. 66 Arch Baron Cup coming at you, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. And we're delighted that it's on our network. So we get to pitch that. We're on ESPN Radio. That's what we get to do. I like when it's on our own network here. Okay.
Does this mean Stephen A. Smith is a coworker of ours for the next hour, technically? Or colleague?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. I reached out to him, got no comments. However, you'll never hear John Rothstein on a program of mine. Rest assured, college basketball fans. So jam-packed hour tonight. In the middle of the program after the first commercial break, we're going to be talking about the legacies that the seniors are going to leave behind tonight. Unfortunately, we have a pushed-up senior night, and it is going to be right here on our doorstep tonight against the Billikens from UD Arena. And then the Flyers will wrap up their season next Sunday in New York, taking on the Bonnies. And also trivia is coming in the second section. So if you're itching for trivia out there, I'll always give you something. You come on back after that first commercial break and we'll give it to you. But where I wanted to start the show tonight is kind of putting context around the news of the week. And KT, it's no secret that this season's been tough on Flyer fans for a number of reasons. And joking aside, this season has been difficult because of what happened last year, the finality of the season being canceled, and asking ourselves how we move forward as fans. And I do say that quite literally. How we move forward as fans is tricky after a year like last year, because, and I've even found myself in this headspace, is that when every game means so much coming down the stretch, when they all matter, when we're having fun, when Dayton's winning, we're going towards the 18-0. There's a different feel around the program, and this year it's been absent, right, coming down the stretch. And as I'm thinking about us heading into the last couple of weeks, I'm not going to mince words with my radio audience. It's tough. It's tough to have things to talk about week in and week out about the Dayton Flyers, because we've said it a million times on the show, KT. Like, give me right now. I'll stop this point dead. Give me 3 things right now that you can absolutely expect to happen tonight for the Dayton Flyers.
While I do that, I want you to look at the chat. We have some breaking news to drop after I answer this question. Also, hello to everyone at Tim's. I'm seeing a live video of us, picture of us in there right now. Love it.
Break news. This is great.
3 things that's going to happen tonight. Well, first and foremost, we'll talk about this with our SLU guy when he comes on. Javonte Perkins has been absolutely torching the court in the last 6 games he's been playing. I expect him to come in, and like we said in the last broadcast, there's always that one guy on the other team that for some reason when they come to UD Arena, they'll have that career night. So I'm terrified of what he's going to do tonight, but I think he's going to have a big night. Number 2, our seniors are going to have a huge night. I think Jalen's going to shoot lights out. I need Ibby to shoot lights out as well. And number 3, as I said before the last game, it was correct, and we'll say it again. We could win by 100 or lose by 100, but we will start out the game down like 7-2 or 10-2 within the first 2 minutes of the game. Don't let that
head on last game.
I did. Now, don't let that take you away from I'm very high on tonight's game, but those are 3 things that are going to happen.
Yeah, and so I'm going to get to a larger point here, I promise, radio audience. But, when we come on the radio show each week, it's generally talking about the same things. I can only complain about the Flyers' turnover issues so much. I can only say that Jalen Crutcher and Ibi Watson have to lead the scoring effort so many times. I can only tell you so many things about how Dayton is going to have scoring droughts and won't be able to hold leads. I can't keep being repetitive. And so in seasons like this, it is harder to keep things fresh. It is harder to go in and say, here's the narrative for the game tonight, right? But we did get an olive branch extended our way as Dayton Flyers fans. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday the Atlantic 10 announced that the A10 tournament is going to be moved from Richmond. Okay, hold on. I did a bad job of explaining that. It's not going to be moved from Richmond. What the A10 did is they moved the tournament up 1 week. So it is now the first weekend of March in Richmond. They will play up until the semifinal round. They'll play the semifinals in Richmond on Saturday. Then they will have a week-long break. The title contenders will come to our very arena on Edwin C. Moses Boulevard, UD Arena, and they will play a nationally televised A10 championship game on Sunday, and that is Selection Sunday. So in a season like this, when we're trying to keep it fresh, when we're trying to look for narratives, and when we are trying to instill hope or regurgitate hope to our audience, we finally have it. We have it. If the Flyers win 3 games in Richmond, they will come home for a chance to play to get into the NCAA tournament. And again, how likely is that to happen, KT? It's not. It's not likely. But every person in this fan base right now needs a reason to watch the Flyers, and they need a little bit of hope. And baby birds, I am going to feed you a little bit of hope. There is a chance that the Flyers could rattle off 3 wins in Richmond and come home and play in Dayton. And it's small. There's a lot of teams that are better than them, but it could happen. And I wanted to start the show there tonight to say that we'll start here. If the Flyers can build on the game here in St. Louis, we just got some breaking news. I don't have any breaking news music, but the breaking news just came across the desk. I'm going to comment how idiotic this is in a second. But I have to. This is ridiculous. The Flyers are going to travel to Philadelphia to play St. Joseph's on Wednesday, February 24th. We just got that word from UD passed along to us. Game time is 6 p.m. Eastern. It'll be streamed on ESPN+. Folks, I'm going to take my time to collect my thoughts on what I just had to read to you, and I'm going to pass it over to KT, and then we'll come back to how I feel about this news. But KT, I wanted you to kind of to hear me out on that. There is some hope for the season now, right?
Yeah, so like Sully said a minute ago, the championship game is not going to be played at UD Arena. This allows the A10 some flexibility to reschedule some games during the final 2 weeks of the season, and it gives us a cushion in case, God forbid, we have any teams have any COVID breakouts. But like we talked about on the podcast a few weeks ago, I think we talked about on the pregame show a few nights ago, we said if there's any year that the A10 tournament and or now the championship game would be coming to UD Arena, it was this year, of course, because and like we said, now there's going to be that H word, that hope being shot through this fan base again. We'll see what happens. We were talking about how
right up our butt cheeks, buddy, right up our butt cheeks,
right into the veins. But we said if there's a season or year for this to happen, just with how this team works, it was going to be this year all along. So give us some hope. It takes us, we were laughing a few times on these very airwaves recently, thinking about how we have to win 4 straight games in like 3 days to actually win the tournament.
Now we don't.
Now we don't. We have to win 3, take a week off, and then come back. And I'm just saying, I'm already having some real fears that it's going to be Dayton VCU, and it's going to be, it's rigged for Dayton. I'm just waiting for it. I'm just preparing myself mentally for that.
To me. Yep. You think I give a rat's behind how Dayton gets into the tournament? Let the A10 fan bases whine until the cows come home. I do not care. If we have to win on our home floor to get in, so be it. You slap an asterisk right next to the Dayton Flyers. that they got into the 21 tournament
and
on a technicality. You go right ahead, my friend.
100%. And let's just also toot our own horns per usual. There's a reason why this championship game is being played at UD Arena, because we are the crown jewel of the A10. That's not even just being homerism or an alumni. Best arena, best program, best fan base, best facilities. So let's just take that, put that, like we said, hope, small victories, moral victories this season. Let's get it out as best we can.
Yeah, well, and let's do this before we go to the commercial break. I did want to kind of go behind the curtain with people and just let you know maybe like what the A10 was thinking here. And logistically speaking, I understand it. And I saw some detractors last night where people were like, well, what could happen? What could happen in the 7 days between Richmond and Dayton? That's true. But here's what the A10 did. And I'm on board with this. They had a buffer already scheduled into the end of their season, okay? We talked about this many times. They did it for scheduling purposes. And instead of plugging extra games in, they moved the tournament up, and then they build in that buffer week again. Okay, so what they did was it's the difference between let's say 3 or 4 teams traveling from Richmond to Indiana on Selection Sunday with the chance that something could go wrong. And if something does go wrong, your season's over. Versus what they did do is there's going to be 2 teams getting on a bus, maybe 1 team getting on a bus to go from Dayton to Indiana. And then the other teams that are going to the tournament, they'll have a whole week and a half to get right, test negative, and make sure everything is greased going into the tournament. So from my perspective, I understand both sides, but I like what the A10 did here. They smartly mitigated risk. And that's all we've been talking about all year. How do you mitigate risk in a situation that is littered with it? And I think they did that very well, KT.
I think you hit the nail on the head, especially when you think about, like I always say, stay positive, test negative. So it's going to be
you always say that. Yeah, you do always say that. Yeah. That's right.
Interesting to see what happens here. But one more thing I want to bring up before the commercial break, because we talked about this again on the last pregame show. The CBS announcers, we said that for every game this year, they keep saying there'll be at least 4 teams out of the A10 going to the big dance in March this year. They decided to up themselves, and on the last weekend's game, was it Tuesday? Whenever last game was, the CBS announcers said we can expect up to 6 A10 teams going to the big dance this year.
No, that's just poppycock. That's poppycock.
But the point is, I am no longer the dumbest person on the college basketball airwaves for that comment being made on national television. That's all I wanted to make.
True. That's actually extremely true. Yeah, that's very true. I'm sorry. You caught me off guard there because I actually didn't think you were going to say something just so dead on true. We're going to take a commercial break. On the other side, we're going to give their seniors their due. It's senior night at UD Arena. Flyers taking on the Billikens, 7 o'clock. ESPN2 is where you can find the tip-off. On the other side, we're going to talk about Jordy. We're going to talk about Ibby. We're going to talk about Rodney and Jalen Crutcher, possibly the best Dayton point guard of all time, and we're going to do it under the lens of some trivia. That's where we're going to start off. We got a lot more to talk about. We got a guest from St. Louis joining us on the back half of the program. Come on back on the other side of the commercial break. This is Sully and KT. We're doing the Talking Out Loud live pregame show, streaming from Tim's, and it's ABC Week presented by Lee's Chicken. You can only find this program right here on 1410 ESPN Radio in Dayton.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with flurries, a high near 24. Tonight's going to be mostly cloudy with flurries, a low around 6. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, also with flurries, a high near 26. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In honor of President's Day, Dell delivers savings to help America's small businesses get more done. Office Anywhere, with up to 50% off high-performance laptops, desktops, and servers with Intel Core processors and top-brand electronics. Plus, refresh now with flexible financing options. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/President's Day.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
O'Reilly. Need new wiper blades? Not sure which ones to buy? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. We'll show you options for your specific car and even install them for free. Right now, save $10 per pair on Bosch Focus wiper blades, plus earn double O-Rewards points. There's no better time to replace your wiper blades. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Thinking about life insurance? Did you know in just a few minutes you can find the best price from up to 10 price competitive companies for free? You can with SelectQuote. For example, George is 39. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $22 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-461-4545. That's 800-461-4545. 800-461-4545. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Merrill Guided Investing. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
And welcome back to the Talking Out Loud live pregame hour, powered by Timothy's Bar and Grill, and it happened right here on Arch Baron Cup Week, presented by Lee's Chicken. Microphone's a little bit in the way. Let me adjust that for the viewing audience here. Apologies. If you're listening on the radio, great to have you. If you're on 1410 ESPN Radio, in the market, iHeartRadio. If you're on TuneIn, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, or watching us on StreamYard, it's absolutely great to have you for the best pregame show in the Gem City. My name's Sully, giving you that full hour right here on Talking Out Loud, and I'm joined by KT once more. KT, did you have something to say, my friend?
Well, I got to apologize to the live viewing audience at Timothy's Bar. I just got a picture of our heads on that wall, and mine couldn't look any more horrifying or scary, so apologies to y'all. Shots on me next time we're there.
See, if you were a professional like me, I got my hair cut before the show this afternoon. That's big facts. All right, I really did. And then I had to contemplate which thing was more impressive today. We're going to get to the game preview in a second. So you can tell me, KT, which thing that I did was more impressive today. I'm going to toot my own horn. I ate an entire ribeye steak sandwich and fries in Chicago traffic on the way home. That's number one, okay? It was between the knees, you know, the between the knees move. Like you've seen the Always Sunny episode when Dennis is eating the cereal. It was kind of like that. Stop at a stoplight, eat the ribeye. An hour later, I ran 6 miles. Which one's more impressive? Eating in traffic or running after a ribeye steak sandwich and fries? Go.
All right, we get it, man. You work out.
No,
but
it's not that.
It's definitely going to be. It's going to be the running 6 miles after a steak sandwich.
Well, it's. I don't want anybody on the radio to think that like I'm some workout freak. I got challenged when I was drunk last Saturday to do X amount of miles by the end of the month. So it's wholly my pride that's getting in the way. I'm dog tired. I don't want to do this at all, but I got drunk and I committed to doing this. So here we are. All right. Welcome back into Talking Out Loud. You don't need to hear more about my life. You need to hear about Dayton against St. Louis, 7 p.m. tip from UD Arena. And where we left off right before we went to the break was there was some breaking news that came across the desk. I rarely get to break news on the radio, and it is word from the University of Dayton officially that the Flyers will travel to Philadelphia and play St. Joe's on Wednesday, February 24th.
Landmine time.
Yeah, so I have time. I took the commercial break to collect my thoughts, and I'm going to tell the radio audience this is absolutely idiotic. This is the stupidest thing possibly imagine that the A10 and you know what's so funny? The A10 was doing so well. They're like, let's move the conference tournament up. Let's mitigate risk on travel. We just talked about it in the last segment. And now you're going to send UD to play St. Joe's in a game that means nothing? For what?
I was so happy. I was so happy when we saw this breaking news break in our little text box over here for you to announce, because the first thing I thought is this boy Sully is going to explode, and I'm just going to sit back and watch, and I can't wait. I'm so happy.
It's just like we just talked about for 5 minutes, mitigating risk coming down the stretch in the schedule. And then you put a needless trip. And for the listeners out there, if you don't know how bad St. Joseph's is, let me tell you, my friends, let me tell you. So St. Joe's right now sits at 1-14 on the season. They're ranked 214 in KenPom, and they haven't won a game since January 9th. You know, it's a great idea. Let's stick Dayton on a plane and fly him to Philadelphia to play that game. Because you know what? There will be a ton of value, and collegiate athletes really need to get back on the floor and get their opportunities. I mean, this is just stupid. It's stupid. I got to spend any more time on this before I go to the preview of the game tonight.
No, because I'll say something I'll regret. So let's just keep going.
Let's go to the preview of the game. You know how I feel. It's idiotic. It's stupid.
It's a landmine, and
a landmine. It's a
do not. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to say I'll get blown up here in a minute on mentions and whatnot, but this is not a guaranteed win by any means for this team this year. So
no,
I am dreading this game that we have to watch another game this week, but let's go.
It's absolute silliness. All right, on to the game at hand. Great time for trivia to lead us into the preview of UD St. Louis tonight. Again, 7 p.m. tip-off on ESPN2. All right, it's senior night at UD Arena. We got 5 seniors, including our man Cameron Greer, son of Ricardo Greer, who's always had a special place in my heart. He played at Pittsburgh, All right, Cameron Greer, along with the 4 guys, my question for you is, how many total games have those 5 guys appeared in for the Dayton Flyers? And I'll give you some hints, okay? Jalen Crutcher obviously has 4 seasons of work. Jordy, Ibby, Rodney, 2 seasons of work. And Cameron's total games is above 20, okay? That's your hint. How many total games have these guys played in their careers for the University of Dayton? You can assume the sample set is about 30 games per season. Those are your hints.
So the number of games where all 5 of them saw the court?
No, we're just like when in the stat sheet, if you appear on the floor, it's a game appearance. So how many total game appearances do the 5 guys have?
104.
Oh, way more, sir. Way more. Jalen Crutcher alone has 112 appearances in a Dayton Flyer uniform. Tonight will mark his 113th appearance in the red and blue. So go ahead and try from there, because Crutcher has 112. Way more, my friend. Way more. So I'm going to list them off.
Clearly, I'm thinking of singular, like not a game where they all were on the court at some point.
No, just game appearances.
All right, so 112. I'm going to go
game appearances.
120. So we'll go to. I'm going to go 321.
The answer to the question of how many total game appearances between the 5 seniors tonight is 244. Here's the breakdown, my friends. Sorry, it's 267 with Greer.
Whatever.
I wrote it down twice. It's 267 because Cameron Greer, has chipped in 23 games. Okay. So there's 244 combined game experiences from Jordy, Ibby, Rodney, and Jalen Crutcher. Crutcher obviously leads the way. Tonight will be 113 for him. Tonight will be the 39th game for Rodney Chapman at Dayton. Tonight will be the 50th game for Ibby Watson and the 46th game for Jordy Chimunga.
Let me throw a quick plug in here. Thanks to our good friend David Jablonski on Twitter. Dayton fans can watch senior night ceremony on the Dayton Flyers Game Day app live through the in-flight experience. So if you wish to see that and tip your cap to the 5 guys, you can do that because it won't be on, obviously, ESPN2.
Yeah, but then it would cut into them watching our program, which is a damn shame, to be honest with you.
Don't do that.
Other things going on tonight. St. Louis is going to be suiting up in their black uniforms. UD will be in white. And I did see that there is some shakeup in the starting lineup tonight. All 4 seniors are going to get the start, along with what I've heard is Zimi Nokeji. So interesting lineup to start. I don't know how that necessarily works out with Zimi and Jordy on the floor at the same time, but we gonna find out, my friends.
I can't wait.
I also found out some news that Mule Sissoko is probably not going to see the floor tonight because everyone was so concerned with that. All right, so previewing the game tonight, and the seniors. Before we do get to the preview, we have Zac Miller coming on after the commercial break to talk about the game from the St. Louis perspective. Going to ask him some questions about what we're going to look for tonight, and maybe how nervous he is about the outcome. But before we do, KT, we wouldn't be doing our job here as hour-long radio hosts without giving our due to the seniors that are heading out. Dayton as a program has had so much success with the transfer market over the years. It didn't really even start with Jordan Seibert. I mean, you could go back to DJ Stelly, who played with Brooks Hall in the early 2000s. You could go, before Seibert, they had
Rob.
Yeah. Rob Lowry came as a transfer. Josh Parker came in as a transfer, helped the Flyers. And then, of course, recently we've had a huge influx of transfers just due to kind of how college basketball is trending, and especially for programs like us who are not mid-major and not high major, right? And so, let's put Jalen aside for a second here. KT, as far as Jordy, Ibby, Rodney go, did they exceed your expectations as Flyers?
It's such a hard question to answer, mainly because all focus was on Obi last year. It's almost like we kind of take a year out of those guys because even though they didn't play horrible, they were very good players. All the focus is on Obi. So I have to say, to go 18-0, obviously it wasn't all Obi doing it himself. And they exceeded my expectations because we've had a lot of transfers. We've had a lot over the years, right? Some come in,
a lot of good transfers. Yeah.
Some come in and they're I don't want to say the garbage. They're not, they're garbage.
Some are garbage.
But then some come in and they become starters and they start balling out. I mean, we wouldn't even be, Jalen's unreal. Yeah, Obi's unreal, but you can't discredit the effect of Ibby and Chapman of the last few years. And I can't say, of course, enough good things about our boy Jordy in terms of Mr. I bring it 100% every game and in practice. That guy's Mr. Effort all day long. And then Greer. We can't leave off Mr. Greer.
Guy on the bench.
100%. That guy goes nuts on the bench. When he gets out, it's the best part of a game. Good. We're going to see him play tonight, of course. So, yeah, there's really not one of these guys. We can get real surgical and talk about, different lineups and things they've done or certain games they've had. But overall, as a group, you can't ask for a better set of transfers than we have here outside of Jalen and Greer, of course.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, those guys as transfers, you couldn't ask for a better set of guys to come into the program. And I think you're right. I think as far as these guys coming in on 2-year loans, which is essentially what we had expected of them. That's what it is when you come in. You're here for 2 years. You got to make your impact, and then you're gone. In that season where they sat out, I think the expectations were high because I think that everybody kind of understood that these guys could be the fill-in pieces to create a whole team, and I think that's exactly what we had. Over the last couple of years here, I think we've started to appreciate more and more in Dayton that we have to have multiple ingredients to make the stew. And you're obviously going to always have to have the prime ingredient. Last year, the meat of the stew was Obi Toppin, and nothing happens without him. But your stew would suck if you just had meat in it. You need all of the other ingredients. You need all the other pieces. And I think that's what these guys have given to us more than anything, is that they've kind of completed the stew to say, here's how we can make a complete team. And, if we're being honest, without these guys this year, we haven't had that complete stew. I mean, putting aside Dwayne Cohill getting injured, we've lost Rodney Chapman for 6 weeks. We lost Chase Johnson leaving school. I mean, those guys were, as we've seen, they were a key part of this stew that we were cooking this year. And I think the team would have been in a great position to take advantage of an at-large bid if everyone had stayed healthy, if all the circumstances had come up Dayton this year. But unfortunately, we find ourselves in a different scenario here heading into February. One last thing, go ahead, and then I got to take them to commercial.
Now, as you say, I remember, there was a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, where all 4 or 5 of these guys were sitting on the bench for a game, and they took that picture on the court, halftime or pregame, whatever, just in their street clothes because they still couldn't.
I think about it all the time. Yeah, exactly.
And we were, first of all, unbelievable picture, and Jordy just looked incredible. But besides that, remember, we were saying, we're like, if just 1 or 2 of these guys is decent, we're going to be in a good spot here. And then you got, Jordy coming in averaging 7 points, Ibby 16, Chapman 10. You can't really ask for their season. Those are just the season numbers. You can't ask for much better from transfers.
Exactly. And a lot of things have gone against the Flyers this year. But the thing I wanted to wrap up the second segment before we get to commercial, on the other side of the commercial, we're going to bring in on my buddy Zac Miller, host of the Midtown Madness Pod. You can find him at Midtown Mad Pod on Twitter. If you have any questions for him or for us to finish up the show, hit us up at K2Letta on Twitter, or me at Sully, my good name, or you can at the show at Talking Out Loud. But where I wanted to end this segment and talking about the seniors is that I wanted to give the due to Jalen Crutcher, and frankly, he's going to go down as either one of the best or the best point guard that's ever played at the University of Dayton. There is a very good chance that tonight he will get enough assists, to pass up David Morris. He needs 6 assists to pass David Morris for second all time on the UD list. Nigel Knight is number 1. He needs about 96 assists to get to Nigel Knight. So it's gonna.
Zach's already chirping in the chat.
That's all right. Nobody can see our guest who's chirping right now in the program. But Jalen Crutcher's last game at the arena, he's going to go down as the second leading assist getter in program history. He will have played, like I said, over 115 games for the program by the time all is said and done. It is a shame that this is how his career is had to go out. It's a shame that he has to have a senior night in an empty arena. It's a shame that he's probably never going to play an NCAA tournament game for the Flyers like Brian Roberts.
That kills me.
And it is a shame that he has to average 20 points a night right now for the Flyers to even have a chance to win. All these circumstances are extremely, extremely sad for me to lay out to you, the radio audience, but I would not be doing a service to our point guard if I did not point out what a gigantic contribution he's given to the program. He was the bridge between the Archie Miller years into the Anthony Grant years. He was one of Grant's first recruits. I think Grant's first recruit.
The number one.
And the fact that he's going to go down playing over 115 games for this program and being a catalyst to our success last year, being the sole catalyst to the success this year, I just ask all listeners out there that wherever you're at, pay your respects to the man, because this program would be in a far different position without him. We'll be right back with Zac Miller from Midtown Madness Pod, breaking down St. Louis for all the Dayton listeners. Got to go to commercial break. This is the Talking Out Loud live pregame show powered by Timothy's Bar and Grill, and you can only find it on 1410 ESPN Radio right here in Dayton.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
I'll be right there. We got to redo the whole thing.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Need to finish these today.
Like at Phil's Machine Shop. To keep carving out more revenue, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Paint? No. Paramount isn't just paint. It's the #1 paint in overall interior hide and stain resistance, providing the most advanced protection in just one coat. And now you can get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first-of-its-kind one-coat ready mix white provides a beautiful white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. In third-party tests, interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell sheen.
Paid for by Protect My Car. Restrictions may apply. Plans and costs for coverage may vary. Call for details.
These days, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a car, truck, or SUV made from 1999 or higher, you could stop paying for car repairs. That's right. You might not have to pay a penny to have it repaired. Just call 800-998-0633 now to see if you qualify. You must have an automobile made from 1999 or higher, and all repairs for your engine, transmission, and much more can become a thing of the past. Call 800-998-0633 today and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. That's right, total protection for your car and no more repair bills. Plus, call 800-998-0633 right now and get free roadside assistance, free towing, free car rental, and free oil changes. Call 800-998-0633 right now to see if your car qualifies. That's 800-998-0633. Never pay for car repairs again. Just call 800-998-0633. 800-998-0633.
Don't overpay for glasses. Get 2 pairs and a free exam for just $69.95. That's not just a better deal. It's America's best. Book your exam online today.
The Paranzino brothers hold monthly online building material and home improvement auctions featuring quality home improvement products. Go to pbauctions.com for all the details and bid on name brand home improvement products, including flooring, kitchen, doors, decking, barn siding, trim, plumbing, lighting, tools, and so much more. All to be sold online. Visit pbauctions.com for preview times and bidding details on the next monthly auction near you. And we'll see you online at the Paranzino Brothers Auction.
Are you ready for tax season? Belmont Business Consultants and Tax Services is ready for you. If you want to come in person, it's a safe environment. Or you can just drop off. Belmont Tax also provides a completely virtual, secure client portal. For business or personal, if you want the accurate deductions you deserve, contact Belmont Tax in Dayton and Eaton. Go to BelmontBCTXS.com. BelmontBCTXS.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
These days, it's okay to do some things halfway, like wearing your pajama bottoms on a work call, but managing your prescriptions shouldn't be one of them. That's why CVS has a proprietary search tool to find ways that may help lower your prescription costs, and will deliver them for free. No wonder CVS customers are better than most at staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. Come in or call today and get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Delivery restrictions apply. Visit CVS.com for details.
We now send you back to Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street for more of the Talking Out Loud pregame show, hosted by Sully.
That's me. I'm Sully. Welcome back to Talking Out Loud Live. This is your pregame show, the best pregame show in the Gem City, getting you ready for UD against St. Louis. Coming up at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. You know, my co-host KT joins me, as well as our special guest, Zac Miller. KT, you know what I just learned when they sent us the picture of our heads up at Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street?
What's up, Tim's?
What's up, Tim's? Everybody at Tim's, we can't be with you today. I'm sorry. We can't be with you. We will be with you soon enough. KT, you know what I learned is that we are pasty white, man. The winter is taking a toll on us here in Chicago. I need a tan, bro. Stuff.
I'm trying to think how to respond to that.
Well, yeah. Because on a projector, we're way whiter than you think we are. That's my point. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, it's 3 Caspers on the screen at Tim's right now, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
really no different than how I'd look there at 2:30 in the morning anyway on a normal
night. Exactly right.
Nothing's different. But what's up, Tim's?
Right. To all of our friends back at Tim's, we love you. We love the students, and we wish that we could be there today, but schedule just didn't allow it. So here we are. We're home. We're casting. We're live to you if you're on YouTube, Facebook, StreamYard, iHeartRadio, or listen to us on your old-fashioned radio now, 1410 a.m. in Dayton. It's great to have you. We're joined now by our special St. Louis guest. He goes by Zac Miller of the Midtown Mad Pod. Zac, we got some news. All right, we're going to jump right into it now since I went over on my last commercial break. I'm honest, if nothing else. Yuri Collins was they said he's ready to go tonight. He's going to play, miss the last 3 games. What does he bring to the lineup for the Billikens, and what can we expect?
He is the engine that makes it go for the offense. Not the best offensive point guard in the land, but he's top 10 in assists per game in the nation as a sophomore. So he really does. He finds guys that you don't even know are open. It's pretty incredible, some of the passes he pulls off.
Yeah, I remember him last year because, in that back and forth game we played at Chaffetz last year, he was a huge contributor. And I remember thinking to myself, like, who the hell is this freshman kid who's getting buckets? And if you remember, he actually had the bucket that sent the game to overtime in Dayton, and that was or in St. Louis rather. And that was kind of my foray to him. I was like, wow, if a freshman's getting that kind of bucket, in the biggest game of the year, he's probably a guy you can rely upon, right?
Yeah, he really was given the keys to the offense immediately upon stepping on campus at St. Louis University. Just very solid with the ball. Doesn't, knock on wood, turn over the ball a lot, but I mean, he's coming off the ankle injury, so we'll see. If he's a step slow or we'll see. I'm always anxious on game days, so.
I know you are.
I got I got my foot tapping over here. It's
when we okay, so we
calm
talked
down,
on
Zach. Calm down.
I know. We talked on Wednesday. You were a little nervous for the game. I told you there's nothing to be nervous about, but I actually said that the first time, and I was dead wrong. I'm saying the same thing tonight. I'd love to see Dayton pull out a win. I just don't think it's going to happen. Just given what I've seen with the team, I think that the key for Dayton is they have to shoot. They have to shoot hot from downtown. If they don't make at least 5 3-pointers between Jalen Crutcher and Ibby Watson, that's the key for them. But what are your 3 things to watch for the Billikens going into the game tonight? And how do you feel? You can tell me how you feel.
Ooh. I'm just anxious, man. I'm anxious. I'm always anxious.
It's the cup. It's the cup.
I know. The cup. I sent you an explicit message this morning because it's the cup.
Yeah.
So,
I got an F off like 8 o'clock this morning because it's the cup.
Yeah. Collins obviously coming back from the ankle injury. The question is, does Goodwin still get run at the point? Will the Billikens be able to run that smash mouth lineup that they ran the last couple games without him? Fred Thatch defending 1 of 3, Crutcher, Watson, or Chapman will be interesting. He's been outstanding. Think Javon Bess without the offense. And then Martin Linson. Sure. Martin Linson emerging as an absolute workhorse down low in limited minutes, an extremely efficient scorer. I think he shot 100% from the field and had like 10 points in like 9 minutes in the game, the most recent game. So Martin Linson has really emerged as kind of the guy who comes in to spell Hassan French, and he can make free throws too. So.
Zach, where do you see bubble projections having St. Louis as of today? Where is the general consensus? For me, it seems like they're first 4 out in most people's bracketology.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard. I don't even know how you put St. Louis anywhere. I mean, obviously, I think we're very, very, very good. So I would put us in. But I'm seeing, either last 4 in or first 4 out. There was a little Twitter it got on Twitter when somebody put out Mizzou versus SLU in the first round. It got a little crazy on St. Louis Twitter for a while. So.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the other question I have for you, because this has been the biggest thing that I've watched, mostly because of last year. For fans that remember last year, St. Louis was not only one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, they were the worst free throw shooting team in the country. They shot 57%. This year, they're shooting 70%, 71%. How in the hell did that happen? Like, just flip the switch. Like, now we can shoot free throws.
Yeah, it's about who gets to the line, right?
More French. We want
usually,
more French.
Usually,
yeah.
French.
Well, so it's funny because I've seen French at halftime shoot around come in and shoot and make 4 or 5. Just step to the line, make 4 or 5. Nothing.
Oh, so you can't trust them in a crisis, is what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't want to say that. Come on now.
I think you can't trust them in a crisis.
But I'm saying, like, it's who shoots the free throws. Hassan was out for a couple games early in the season. We shot probably 80% as a team. And, for the most part, we're not relying on Hassan to go get us buckets because we can shoot the 3 now. So you're not seeing us get to the line as much, and you're seeing different players get to the line. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you talk about, when you talked about your 3 keys that the Billikens need to do to win this game, did you bring up Javonte Perkins or no?
I didn't. Because
my question is why? Because this guy,
that's his boy.
5 years, 6 last games, he's leading scorer, and he's shooting 43% clip from deep this year. So the reason why I brought him up earlier is I'm always looking. There's always that one guy on the other team who has a career night. Yes, at UT.
No, you always have like respect for like various guys in the A10, and that's one guy. KT's like, he's going to drop 30 tonight.
This team is. I mean, look, Javonte.
I tell it like it is.
Javonte is a. He's just a bucket. I think he'll have a big second half. He may start out slow, but it's a given. I think I wanted to bring something that Dayton fans may not know. That's really where I'm coming from. But yeah, Javonte Perkins is unbelievable. I've never seen a guy who makes scoring inside the arc look as effortless as he does. He had a dunk last year against Seton Hall.
Did you watch Obi last year? You didn't watch
No,
a lot of Obi.
look, hold on. Hold up. Overrated? You mean overrated?
No, don't do that on the Dayton show.
But
you're broadcasting live in a campus bar. You could have like a box of anthrax show up at your door tomorrow. You don't want that.
Wow.
COVID protocols. Do not riot, Dayton students. No, Javonte just for a 6'5", 6'6" guard just gets to he's smooth in everything he does. Yeah. He gets in the lane. It's a smooth, quick jumper. So it's really going to be big to see, Javonte making threes. Gibson Jimerson will be huge if he can get open and make shots. He's been a little cold. He started off really cold against Rhode Island. LaSalle, but
they're cold against Dayton too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
Yeah, you were there. You saw it. St. Louis shot 3 for 13 from downtown against Dayton. And for my money, Zach, that is what is going to be the X factor today is who is going to shoot better from beyond the arc, right? We know that Dayton kind of lives and dies by the 3. So I'm going to take that as an indicator of like who's going to win tonight. I think if Dayton shoots over 40% from 3, they win the game. But I will say this. If St. Louis also shoots over 40%, while Dayton does as well, St. Louis is going to win that game. So my question, to you, and we're finishing up with my buddy Zac Miller, Midtown Madness Pod. You can find him on Twitter at Midtown Mad Pod. Does exactly what I do in the St. Louis market for the Billikens. What's the formula for tonight for St. Louis to get it done? What's it look like?
I think just continue the defense that has stepped up after the LaSalle game, the initial LaSalle loss. Continue the defense, defend the 3 well. We did really well against Rhode Island and against LaSalle, but again, that's LaSalle and Rhode Island. So as long as we can defend really well, I think the offense takes care of itself. I think that's where the Billikens went away from in coming off the COVID pause, is that they tried to score. They just were like, we're a scoring team, the defense, whatever. But now they're a defensive team who can also score really well. So if they stick to that identity, they're going to come away with a cover tonight.
Yeah, and for those, that's always what we like to do towards the end here. Game time coming up in about 10 minutes. Usually ESPN does that stupid thing where they're like 7 p.m. tip-off, and then it doesn't tip until like 7:11 or whatever.
Only in Europe does it start right on time. That's something we can learn from Europe.
Oh, tell me about it. Soccer games, if they say 2, starts at 2.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I wish we should do that. It happened to me the other night. I was watching a hockey game. They said 7 o'clock puck drop. The game didn't start till like 7:27.
Listen, look. It's the cup. It's the Arch Barrett Cup. Rarely do things ever go to schedule or according to plan for either team. And
gotta hype it.
I'm just so excited. I mean, in a season that has been, I got to watch how I say this on the FCC airwaves here. Not what we thought it was going to be.
Poopy.
We always had the Arch Barrett Cup to look forward to. One of the biggest college rivalries in the history of college basketball. There's actually websites dedicated to it. So again,
go to archbaroncup.com for more information.
Archbaroncup.com. That's not a joke. It's a real website with more detailed history than any subject you've ever seen in your entire life. But I guess, Zach, my question for you is, when you wake up on Arch Barrett Cup days, can you just feel that tension? You just cut it with a butter knife?
Cut it with a knife.
I wake up tense. I go get the tens. Speaking of the tens machine, I got to put it on all over the place. It's on my. I get anxious for any Billiken game, man. It doesn't matter. Except for maybe Fordham. Fordham was the only game this season. Like now, if
we're gonna do this,
can we not talk about? We're not talking about the F.
We're gonna talk about.
We're not saying the F word. No,
the FCC doesn't like that one.
No, I don't like that one.
Like, you got 3 minutes left in the show, and you're going to bring up Fordham.
If we would have beat Dayton and LaSalle the first time around, I would be fine right now. But
sure.
The stakes have been raised on our season.
I agree.
By those 2 losses, unfortunately, because I believe that if the pause never happens, we're likely maybe undefeated in conference?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I agree.
I don't want to like overstate things, but like that's a real possibility for this team, the way they were playing. So, but now with the 2 bad losses, no offense, Dayton.
All good.
It's every game except for maybe VCU is a must win.
Yep. Guys, we got 2 minutes left. We're going to go straight into final thoughts. Make them concise, make them good. Line last I saw was pushed down to Dayton 5-point dogs. So with that in mind, guys, KT, going to go to you first. Final thoughts for the evening. Got 2.5 minutes left.
Final thoughts for the evening. Like I said, when we started the show, we are going to come out and probably get into a 10-2 deficit, as we always do, especially against this team. It's formula. I would like to say my prediction for tonight, the horse trophy, the MVP of the Arch Barron Cup, which is announced after every Arch Barron Cup game. I'm going to say Jalen wins his, what is his, 3rd or 4th?
Pander to the audience.
Might be his 5th.
So let me think. Predictions. UD 78, Billikens 56. Shout out Tim's.
Shout out Tim. Zach, what do you got for us? Final thoughts on the game. I was actually looking for the betting lines right now to see what the point totals are. 135 is the point total. I am saying slam the Dayton over, which is 65 points. Zach, final thoughts on the evening.
Billikens defend like heroes tonight. 75-66. Billikens win.
75-66 still gets me that cover of Dayton over 65
points. I like to see my friends win money when it doesn't hurt me.
I do thank you for that. I do thank you. I don't know. I'm not gonna touch the spread tonight. I'm gonna be honest with you guys because I've been burned by the Flyers a few times tonight. Wrapping up the show, I'm gonna quick fire. This is again the 66th Arch Barron Cup, dating back to 1952 when they met in the NIT tournament. UD owns the edge 37-28 over the Billikens. There have been 11 games so far when a team has been ranked going into this matchup, one or the other, and there's only been 2 times when both teams have been ranked, 1952 and 1955 in the NIT tournament. We're tipping off at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Thanks to everybody that watched us at Tim's. Thank you to everybody out there on ESPN 1410 Radio. If you listen on iHeart, wherever you listen to us, we thank you so much on behalf of KT and Zach. I'm Sully. Enjoy the game tonight. If you're not a St. Louis person listening to us, you know that there's 2 rules. You wear red and be loud. Go Flyers.
Go Flyers.
I think we're going to commercial.
WYNG 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of